Everyone. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some of the lessons we need to learn from Alhaji Ajani Bello that passed away yesterday. In my earlier video, I said something that as a woman being, we will not be remembered for the religions we practice. To me, that's my own opinion. And also, you will not be remembered by the number of children you give back to. You will not be remembered based on the number of women you get married to. You will only be remembered for what you done for humanity. In my last video, I said something that whenever the name Muhyiddin Ajani Bello is being mentioned, what comes to your mind? Yes, Muhyiddin Ajani Bello have lived and his work will continue to speak for him. Yes. So that's the reason why I come up with some of the things that we need to learn as an individual from the life of Ajani Bello based on my own opinion. Number one of the things that I discovered that helped Alhaji Ajani Bello is that he was able to discover himself at the early age. Based on what I read, I discovered that he starts his missionary his preaching at the age of 10, meaning that for someone to hold mic at the age of 10, he must have discovered himself maybe at the age of 9. Yes, he discovered himself and his parents tailored him based on what they discover. That's the reason why we need to have good parents that observe children. Yes, his parents they did not domesticate him. They channeled him, his energy based on what they discover about him and see what he turned out to. Yes, he discovered himself at the early age and he starts to develop himself towards that. So as an individual, if you want the world to know you, to remember you, the first thing you need to do is to discover your calling. Yes. If you want to know how to discover yourself, there is smartphone in your hand. Just type it to Google. How do I discover myself? You are going to read a lot of materials concerning that. Number two is that he is a man of integrity. Yes, he is a man of integrity. In one of his teaching or in one of his lecture, I heard him saying whenever he's being called to Abuja, maybe when politician calls him to come and give them lecture or to come and preach or to come and give a sermon in Asoro, they call other Alfa. And he warns them that he knows that they are going to give them money, that they should never share the money being given to them by politicians. They should never share it with him. That's how to know a man of integrity. If people want to know whether you have integrity or not, until you pass the test of money. Yes. And number three is contented with what he has. Yes. When you look at the lifestyle of Alhaji Ajani Bello, you can see that the man is contented with what he has. He's not the kind of person that uses what he don't have to impress other people that he has it. You can see from the mode of his dressing. Another thing is that he's not the kind of affair that is materialistic. There are some affair, they are materialistic. Not only affair, you see some pastor, even some individual, they are materialistic. If they buy something, they want the whole community to know that they have that thing. They use it to oppress others. It's not materialistic. Now, based on what I heard from his teaching, he said if, for instance, he has been collecting money from his outing, he said by now he will have been richer than the even government. The man is not focused on collecting money. That's the essence of discovering oneself. Once you discover yourself, there is something that will be pushing you, whether there is money or money, whether they pay you or they don't pay you, you'll be happy to do that particular thing. And also, is a kind of person that doesn't show off. Yes, now we know some people. If God If God give them an opportunity even to travel abroad, you see all over the internet. He doesn't show off. That's one thing I observe about him. And also, he's the kind of person that speak the truth, not minding the us is God. That's one thing about Alhaji Ajani Bello, and that's one thing I like about him. Always speak the truth, not minding the us. Even if you have the whole money of, if you are the richest person in the whole world, he's going to tell you the truth. That's one thing about him. You hear from some of his video telling government that any ofu, any adanu ni. Yes, now he's a kind of affair that you can't trick you can't trick him with money. Yes, now he always speak the truth and always speak for the poor. And also he always speaks for, I've made mention of that. He always speaks for the poor. Yes, now how many afar have you seen speaking for the poor masses, telling the government face to face what they forced to do? And lastly on my list, this one will shock you. He does not use God's name to acquire wealth. This is so common among so called men of God, even both Christian and Muslim. Most of them use God's name to acquire wealth. Yes. Now my question is, if you call yourself a father or pastor without money, can you still do that God's words? Because we've seen many instances where people using God's name to acquire wealth, deceiving people. That's one thing. Those are some of the things I can say about Hafa Ajani Bello. Yes. And I would like you to share your opinion or your thoughts based on what I just said in the comment section. What you can say about Hafa Ajani Bello that just kicked the bucket. If this is your first time coming across my video, please kindly do me a favor by following this page, share, and comment.